Hello. I can't move. It's just nothing's moving. No. Sorry that I couldn't get the camera working in time, but hello. I'm Anti, and it is always a pleasure to be here with you, Hikari. And I'm honestly really excited to see how this bracket ends up panning out. I love me some Rivals 1, especially EU Rivals 1, because it's always very fun to see the high octane gameplay that this game has to offer. Oh yeah. Yeah, I will play this game to the day I die, and right now we're going to be seeing some people die very quickly in this bracket. I mean, the bracket itself not so large per se, but when you have a smaller bracket, you're bound to have a more stacked bracket, right? The people who are still left are the people who are going to be very dedicated. So we're going to be seeing some very familiar names, some familiar faces, but hopefully not some familiar outcomes, right? I'd love to see some upsets. I'd love to see some crazy plays here and there, but we'll have to get into it. mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Eliana versus Ori is one of those matchups that I would argue is very heavily under contention. There are many Eliana players out there who are inclined to believe that this is extremely Ori favored. There's actually a few out there who are inclined to believe that it is Eliana favored. And there are the few who will just sit there and be like, yeah, it's probably even, right? And in true Rivals 1 fashion, nobody agrees, because it's all about the punish game between these two, right? Ori will win neutral 90% of the game, Eliana will land one overheat up tilt, and it is just over for Ori. So we're gonna have to see what actually happens when we do get into the match, but you gotta be really worried about that overheat up tilt for Cookies against Everest. And on the other side, Everest is likely going to be wiping the floor in the neutral department, considering that's just what Ori excels at. Oh. Oh my goodness. I've
Hey
been
guys, I forgot to
chatting
unmute myself. Yeah, I forgot to unmute myself. Hey guys, I'm Hikari, content manager and main commentator for Rivals Favor Europe. I've been doing this for years.
Don't you worry, I managed to do this on things that pay me. So either way, we are going to get right into this. And as we were saying, right, it's bound to be a very fun match between Cookies and Everest. You know, longtime TOs versus content queen. We're going to have to see what actually happens between these two. Eliana and Ori, as noted, extremely volatile.
Yeah, we might as well just get straight into it, onto Merchant Port for game one. Yeah, already Everest just trying to get in Cookie's face as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Everest just darting around spot by spot, but the moment that Cookies does get an in, tries to take it as far as possible. In the meantime, Everest up air, looking for the bash, going to land it, and goodbye, Eliana.
Yeah, I mean, already, that is just insane work. I mean, they were there 1 second and now they're just gone, and that's insane to me.
Yeah, I mean, blink and you miss it. That is just how the matchup works. That's not quite an overheat up tilt, so we're not going to be seeing the kill just yet, but Everest burning that double jump early ends up not having the ability to get right back to stage. And Cookie's evening up that stock count, but once again, blink and you'll miss it. Look at that, 100% already on the snake. Everest and Cookie's still just trading blow for blow.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, again, Everest, over this matchup. Obviously, it is in contention who it favors, but right now it is definitely favoring Everest. I mean, look at this. She was really looking for a flashy ending there, but just couldn't find it as Cookies decided to recover low. Okay.
Yeah, but right now you have to be so careful as Ori trying to find a way back to stage. Good edge cancel on that up B, and the up air going to catch that DI. Cookie's in a lot of trouble now. Only 1 stock left. Up air, no, goes for the up strong, and it's not going to connect. Another back air, but not going to kill the snake just yet.
But let's just see how this keeps going. I mean, Cookie's still not backing down, even despite just the absolute pressure of fighting someone like Everest, and
Whoa!
She always finds those bashes. It's insane.
Yeah, and that's one of those moments that I love to see. Lots of different Oris will have lots of different answers in those scenarios. There was, flame reverse, double jump back air. There was, going for down air, up air. There was so many different options. Everest putting her own flair on things, going to air dodge and then just double jump raw bash. And it just catches Cookies out. She knows exactly where they're gonna go. And game number 1 going to our Ori.
Yeah, Everest, especially, I feel like high-level Oris, the thing that distinguishes them between, obviously, high-level and the more mid-level to low-level is going for those off-stage bashes, because obviously, if you're not confident in them, then you're going to think, oh, if I miss, I'm going to fall and die. But no, if you just go for them, a lot of the time it just will work out. But we'll just have to see if it keeps working as we go to Frozen Fortress for Game 2.
Yeah, Frozen Fortress, definitely a good stage pick for Cookies here. Gonna allow you to survive a little bit longer against that Ori, and also provides Eliana a lot of spaces for sharking those platforms. You can see right here, playing a lot of keep away against the Ori, but the moment that Everest gets in, just evens up that percent and actually laps them immediately.
I mean, that could have been a brutally early kill on Cookies there, and by the looks of it, we're about to see it very soon. I mean, 120%. There is no escaping a stock being taken here. All you can do is just delay the inevitable at this point.
Yeah, delaying the inevitable is one way to put it, but F-Strong in neutral is far from what you'd consider the inevitable. Right now, Everest just kind of swinging at Cookies, and she's not going to be getting punished whatsoever because, there's so much percent in the way, and Cookies not too far away from that blast zone, actually going to be crossing that threshold.
Yeah, okay, but we just have to see if they can keep it going. Okay, a good parry gets the mine onto Everest, but that parry in return is just going to instantly get rid of it. It all goes for the down air there. Not something you see every day, especially from someone like Everest who loves their more horizontal kills.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the biggest issue for Cookies is you're seeing a lot of these moves just kind of being thrown out as a precautionary measure. And a lot of the times, as Eliana versus Ori, you're trying to do your best to limit the Ori's movement options, to limit the way how the Ori can actually approach. And right there, you can see it coming to fruition, forcing Everest into that parry situation. But last stock potentially for Cookies here. And Everest is just running away with this one. One back air, a second back air, the up tilt going to take Everest back off stage.
Mm-hmm. Again, already Cookies on their last stock of game 2. And Everest just holding on to... Never mind, I was going to say holding on to that second, but that absolute haymaker of a back air, just bringing it down to even stock count.
Yeah, and you can see right there, Everest and Cookies just going toe-to-toe. Everest was in such a bad situation for quite a bit of it, but right now, Cookies off stage has very little room to work with. One up air, Cookies almost overheating, and are you going to get back to stage? What a beautiful air dodge, but an even more beautiful read from Everest.
Exactly. And that is going to be game 2 for Everest. Now, it's not looking great for Cookies, as, you know, it's to be expected from Everest's performance. But, I mean, Cookies, again, has been holding their own, doing really well to at least get Everest down to their last stock, so it's only a matter of seeing what happens next for game 3 as we go on to Jules Fail.
Right, Jules Veil, definitely an interesting pick here. Right, for a long time, many Elianas considered this Ellie's best stage, but you know what? You know what? If you just do that 3 times in a row, maybe it is Ellie's best stage.
Yeah,
Mind Control is a wonderful way to start things off. Everest, not liking the result of that one, just immediately going to try to take the percent back at the very least. But Cookies right now has not been able to do much in terms of the damage.
Ooh.
So many flaps, so much damage, and triple digits for the snake already.
Yeah, a bit of a risky upstrung attempt there. Really could have paid off if it landed. Okay, off stage. Overheat, tries to spike with Scene, but still manages to get the kill with an upstrong. Okay, stocks are now even, and percent is elapsing now. Cookie's now on the back foot.
Cookie on the back foot, another up air attempt, not quite gonna work out, but Cookie's not going to have that flying permit for long enough. And right now, Everest in the lead. One more stock potentially for Cookies on winner's side.
Yeah, not looking great. This could potentially be their winner's side stock, especially if Everest just keeps playing the way she always does. I mean, again, this percent that she's just able to build up so quickly. It's insane.
Insane amount of percent. Sign charge into F strong, not gonna kill just yet. I'm expecting to see a raw strong attack read coming in sometime soon, but right now Everest looking for the up strong. Up air going to take it on the snake alone. I mean, lightest character in the game by a long shot, and you can see right there Everest with a 3-0 making light work of the matchup.
Yeah, a very strong start from Everest so far, and knocking Cookies into loser's side, so that's definitely going to be an issue for our Eliana here as we move forward. Now, again, Everest putting in such a showing already, as to be expected, really. So okay, 1 second. Just need to get our next set ready, and then we'll get straight into it.
Yeah, I mean, Everest versus Cookies, what a treat to watch. I love seeing some high octane Ori. I know, Everest, if you are watching this, obviously I love watching your Ori. She keeps on messaging me every now and then saying, hey, you know, we should play, we should fight. I'm just like, well, I'm West Coast. It's a little bit difficult. But, you know, you can see the love that she has for this game, the love that she still has for this Ori, and it comes out in, you know, her own unique playstyle that comes through, and that's one of the things I love about this game, right? Regardless of the matchup, regardless of the characters, the individuality for each of the players really does shine through.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm not sure what matchup do we have queued up.
Oh,
I guess
I
would be the
am
way to put it.
glad you asked, because next we have Maxime versus Elphanon. Again, Maxime we see quite often entering these R2CS events, and Elphanon we don't really see too often here on Rivals 1 side, but we do see getting pretty damn good results in Rivals 2, so hopefully that skill does carry over. I mean, it should do. They are very good at both games from what I remember, so with that aside, I do believe we should just get straight into it, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm definitely inclined to believe so, especially with Shovel Knight versus not Raster, but Bradshaw. It's particularly funny because for a decent bit of time during Shovel Knight's initial inclusion, there are quite a few people out there who argued that Shovel Knight was the secret Raster counterpick, right? Because you would pick up Horn and it would be very difficult for Raster to play around it. So I'm interested to see how this does work out, because if Shovel Knight is the Raster counterpick, the question is how it's going to work out against Bradshaw.
Definitely. But I mean, we'll have to see by getting straight into the games. So, game 1, we are going to go to Neo Julesvale.
All right, Neo Julesvale might be some old matchups, but going to be starting things off on a, relatively speaking, newer stage. But right now, Dash Attack going to put Elphanon in a little bit of trouble. The biggest issue that Shovel Knight has always had in this matchup is actually forcing an in before any sort of relics come on board here. But right now, Elphanon and Maxime literally just swing directly at each other's faces.
Exactly, and I mean, Maxime has such a nice mastery over this character that you don't really see from many other players, you know, apart from like Retro, PK Master. Even then, those two have their own characters that they spend a bit more time with in Rivals 1 at least. So, seeing Maxime play is always fun to see. Already.
Absolutely, but right now, one Nair gonna send Maxime off stage, and the question is, are you gonna be able to find a way to sneak back into this and get the damage needed onto this Raster? Elphanon right now looking for that one kill.
Oh no!
Going to find a kill, unfortunately still gonna be going down in that stock count category. Right now, Elphanon in the roughest position for a Raster. You really have to find a way how to seal out the stock. Something with a Nair, something with an up B, but at the very least, it's very, very difficult outside of a raw kill.
Exactly. But they are going to find it there. I mean, sure, Maxime only down to their second stock already. But Elphanon, it's looking really rough for being on their last stock of round 1. Okay.
Yeah, might be the last stock, but okay, so when you add more meme numbers into the mix, it feels like it just makes players stronger, because every single time one of these meme numbers pops up, they try to hold on to that percent as long as possible. But right now, Elphanon going to be able to sneak right back on stage. No meme numbers to be seen whatsoever, but we are still going to be seeing quite a meme of a matchup. The Raster struggling to find a way in, and Upstrong going to be taking them directly to that top blast zone.
Yeah. If only you knew what Elphanon keeps changing their Steam tag to. Speaking of meme numbers, it's
I'm scared.
Well,
I mean,
at the moment, it's Goon Pigeon 60. It's Goon Pigeon 67.
Wonderful.
It's usually like Colonel WhatsApp, which I'm a bit more okay with, regardless of
honestly
funny Steam name. We got
funny Steam names aside, it's honestly pretty interesting I mean, both of the times we have seen it on stream, when someone's at 67%, they start playing much more controlled and end up taking a stock, right? They end up looking to avoid taking damage, largely because of the meme, I'm going to guess, but a lot of that ends up forcing their opponent on that approach, right?
Yeah.
You know, when you can force your opponent to approach on these whiff punish heavy characters, it ends up being so powerful for you. And Elphanon not going to be able to take game number 1, but if we can see that same kind of restraint throughout the entire game plan rather than just when a meme moment pops up, maybe we do see the matchup change a little bit. But right now it seems like the ancient texts are ringing true with that Shovel Knight versus Raster matchup.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to see as we go into round 2, as Elphanon changes to, you know, the other custom with, or not other custom, to the custom color for round 2 on the Endless Abyss.
All right, and there we go. Endless Abyss, a classic stage to be going to. I mean, it's a classic statement stage each and every time. It says, my ground and neutral is better than yours. And Maxime right now going to play very little of this ground and neutral, actually staying aerial quite a bit of the time. So many of these downers coming on out, but right now, Elphanon still trying to find a way how to make use of the stage. It's not going to work out, though.
Yeah, no tech from Elphanon means that downer is going to just eviscerate the bird. And already, Maxime not slowing down one bit. Just trying to stay in Elphanon's face for as long as possible. Going for another down air spike in the process. It's absolutely tenderizing this bird.
Yeah, and you can see Elphanon struggling quite a bit, you know, just floundering, just trying to find some way how to land is the biggest concern a lot of the time. But Maxime, on the other hand, isn't concerned with landing, is simply concerned with paying the toll for the Grim Reaper, using Elphanon's body. But right now, down tilt, down tilt, down tilt, looking for another one. The down air's coming through as well. The stick is just being held towards that down position, but right now, Elphanon still trying to find a way how to take Maxime off the top.
Yeah, but they are really struggling. I mean, Maxime at 138 and rising, and still holding on. Elphanon going for a Hail Mary up B, just not finding its mark. Okay, an interesting trade there, and Elphanon finally getting that first stock of game 2. But is it too late? Is Maxime already in go mode?
Yeah, go mode is definitely one way to put it. I do have to say, it's honestly wild to me that every time that Elphanon does... Oh, never mind. Elphanon going to be dropping that final stock in game number 2. You know, who needs analysis when you can simply go to the next game? But I am not the hugest fan of that counter pick, but in the end, you got to make something happen, right? You gotta go with some crazy sort of stage layout if you want to make a change, but unfortunately for Elphanon, Maxime is the one who comes out on top there. And back to one of my previous statements, it is insane to me that every time that we have seen Elphanon take the stock, it has been with a sweet spot clap at extremely high percents. I'm genuinely baffled as to how they're managing to find these sweet spots. But if you can find those, you know, 50% earlier, right, it's going to be the same case of it being extremely potent. But right now, game number 3 in the horizon, is Maxime going to take Elphanon over that event horizon and into the graveyard?
Oh, we'll just have to see as we move on to our third game of round 1 with Diamond Grove. I mean, this should be a pretty even stage in my opinion. Obviously, we do have that lack of a full wall that could get in the way of some recovery. But these platforms really do just help both characters a whole lot. So we'll just have to see who makes the best use of them.
Yeah, I mean, the platforms might help both characters.
Oh,
At the very least, that's such an unfortunate way for it to go.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about the platforms, but the lack of walls ends up killing out Elphanon. But right now, a back air, and can you get back to stage? Beautiful tech from Elphanon. And right now, Maxime still trying to find a way how to run away with this lead. It just feels like a bit of unfamiliarity, or more accurately, a bit of, discomfort with the stage layout.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we don't really see Elphanon entering these Rivals 1 brackets these days that much anymore. And Maxime, we see all the time with these online brackets, so it could also be a matter of not being used to competing in this game anymore, because, like, Elphanon, known for being pretty damn good at Rivals 2, but clearly the competitive side of Rivals 1 is not in their favor at the moment, especially with Maxime just running away with that last stock and the set.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful stuff from Maxime. Gonna take it 3-0 in a relatively dominating fashion. We saw Elphanon doing their best to keep up, but the Shovel Knight going to build up that empire with all of the gold harvested off of this Raster's body. And in the end, 3-0 and a handshake, gonna be moving on in winner's side here.
Now, before we continue, obviously we now have our top 8, but with that, we are actually going to have to spoil it a little bit as I, finish setting it up first. But we do have our top 8 bracket complete. We do actually have... Oh, wait, we have another winner's quarters set. I'm so used to only doing 2 with live games, so instead we'll be finishing off winner's quarters before we move on, and that is going to be with, if I can get the replays ready. Okay, so that is going to be with Enid Bunny and Crossptn. 2 players we have seen here before. Crossptn we see on this channel quite a bit with Fireicey too. But Enid Bunny doesn't really enter too much as far as I'm concerned. Did enter Online Freeze Rivals 1 bracket, but apart from that, not too familiar of a face. They do play Pom, which is pretty nice. You don't see too many Poms these days, at least, so...
Yeah, I mean, we've got 2 players rocking the, I guess, less represented characters in the, post-Definitive Edition era. We got the Pom, we've got the Olympia, and the big question that I have is, are we going to see the super scrappy sort of gameplay, or are we going to be seeing keep away all day, every day? And right now, if you are an Enid Bunny fan, you're probably going to be rooting for some keep away as the Pom into the Olympia, because Olympia is just such a good character when it comes to scrapping with their opponents. So Cross wants to get on into that burst range, and Enid Bunny just wants to keep Cross away as long as possible.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to see how well either of these players do in that regard. In round 1, as soon as I press the right button, there we go. No one saw anything about the game count. It's round 1. It's game 1 on Jules fail, and yeah, already, as we predicted, Cross just getting in Enid's face, not giving her any room to breathe.
Yeah, but you can see Enid Bunny on that Pom still finding more ways to try and fight back. 83% though on that rat to begin with, and an up B right off the top. Cross gonna be starting this one off as quickly as possible.
And really, this is the main part of Olympia's gameplay that I miss in Rivals 2. Just being so quick, so in your face, being able to press a million buttons a minute. Obviously, you can still kind of do that in Rivals 2, but it's just so visceral in Rivals 1. Just, like... Okay.
I mean, you can see the way how Cross is doing it. If a button's not being pressed, Cross is not looking at the screen. But right now, Cross, once again, throwing out aerial after aerial after aerial, is just holding the W key in Enid Bunny's direction. And unless the blast zone is somehow closer, hold straight on out for that one. The forward air going to be able to take that first stock for Enid Bunny. But right now, once again, it's all about these aerials.
Yeah, and it really isn't looking great for Enid right now. As we probably saw with the last time she entered, she is not, you know, at the same level as some of these other players we see today. But it's nice to see players of this level, you know, entering these brackets and just giving it their best. But against someone like Crossptn, it isn't going to be easy for them. And I forgot to transition, so ignore the game count. Game 2.
Yeah, don't worry about it, but either way, Enid Bunny going to be dropping game number 1 there. Crossptn, as we can see, is still just throwing out aerial after aerial after aerial, whether it's up air, forward air, down air. As long as you can keep your opponent into hit stun, it is a correct button to push for the Olympia. Right now, back to start things off, not going to be able to get much off that, and Enid Bunny in quite a bit of trouble. At least the forward air keeps this Olympia off stage. Can you get that edge guard? Not quite going to be able to seal it out, but a decent chunk of damage.
Very nice call out with the up B. Doesn't quite land its mark though. Okay. No gem field in play anymore, but Cross doesn't need it. A forward air like that is just going to completely remove Enid's first stock from the equation. But Enid's still fighting back at the very least, putting some nice percent on Cross. Okay, good up air. A very strong move.
Yeah, and a beautiful start for this one for Enid. Gonna be able to take it with that up air right off the top, and that one was all Enid. Cross right now trying to even it right back out though. The upbeat reverse is not quite going to fully connect though.
Yeah.
Needed with one parry is looking to try to take that stock right back. Not going for the downer, instead opts for that sweet spot, and Enid Bunny not ready for that recovery moment.
Yeah, and again, despite Cross's just volatile gameplay here, Enid Bunny is doing some really nice stuff. Like that first stock with the you know, notes into up air. I really like how she is using a lot of her kit. So she has a lot of potential if she chooses to stay with this game, and I really hope she does. And again, just that ladder of up airs, bringing Cross to that last stock.
Yeah, and Crossptn might be in a bit of trouble here off stage, looking for a way back on, and Enid Bunny's just not letting this rat back onto stage. With the moment that Olympia touches solid ground, it's back up into the air for even more of these aerials. One forward air sweet spot, one up B, and not gonna connect. How long can you hold on to this stock? As Enid Bunny, not long enough. The forward air eventually connects, and Crossptn gonna be taking game number 2.
Now, I mean, yeah, as I've been saying, Enid showing some really nice stuff, some really good character knowledge, but obviously Crossptn has had their hands on this game, I'd assume, a lot longer. Enid Bunny a bit newer to the scene. Excuse me. But, yeah, I mean, again, I just really want to see how Enid continues to improve, because even between now and the last time she entered, I am seeing some really nice improvements, and I hope to see even more. But until that time, we have Game 3 on Tower of Heaven.
Yeah, I mean, Tower of Heaven going to be a very solid pick for Enid Bunny here. I mean, the last one we saw on Neo Fire Capital, a lot more ability to survive as long as possible. Enid Bunny in a lot of trouble here, but the forward air not going to kill this mouse just yet. Crossptn in a bit of trouble off stage, but straight back to on. I mean, we're seeing this all the time from this Olympia is just aerials on aerials on aerials, regardless if it's off stage or on. But the only thing that's constant is Enid Bunny being on the receiving end.
Exactly. Okay, good down strong to close out the first stock. How are we going to see the rest of this game go? I mean, just dash attack after dash attack from Crossptn here. Good forward air by Enid. Okay, isn't able to get much of an edge guard on the Olympia before they get back onto solid ground and just start building up the percent, same as usual.
Same as usual is one way to put it, but right now the up air's not anywhere close. The forward air, on the other hand, going to be connecting into Enid Bunny. And the question is, are we going to be seeing a 3-stock in game number 3? Crystallize forward air, not going to be able to get that kill just yet. Enid Bunny holding on for dear life, 61%. Looks for the up air, not going to be able to connect it off that back air. But one forward air to start, one back air to continue. And the up B not going to connect for Crossptn.
Okay, there it is. Cross putting in one hell of a show to take the set, ending with a near free stock and putting on a hell of a starting performance for this bracket. Okay.
Yeah, wonderful start for Cross there, but a little bit on the rough receiving end for Enid Bunny. But as always, you know, a palm in the brackets a treat to see and a half, and we saw quite a few of those aerials just continually being strung into one another in beautiful palm fashion. The big question here is whether or not we are going to be seeing Enid Bunny make that return through loser side, or if we're going to be seeing, you know, more Cross in the winners. Who knows where these players will end up. All we do know for a fact is that we've got nothing but wonderful Rivals 1 gameplay on the horizon.
Yeah, and we are finally, actually this time, onto our top 8. So, as I was going to say earlier, we are unable to do the full top 8 as we weren't able to get the replays for Elfnon's sets. So, as we look at our top 8 graphic, yeah, Elfnon met Cookies in loser side and took them out game 5. So, but hopefully, we'll see them in the future, because again, both those players are very fun to watch. I don't know why the overlay doesn't like having a Shovel Knight, so I'm gonna try a quick fix. Let's see. Should be as simple as doing that. There we go. Okay. So yeah.
There we go.
For the rest of our
Elfnon Absa?
No. What? No. Oh, I know what it was. I put a placeholder there. So let me fix that. There we go. Okay. So, as we can see, we have Fireicey on the bye-round winners semis going against Crossptn, Everest vs Maxime, and of course over on loser side we have Elfnon and Enid Bunny respectively in their own losers quarter sets. So, let me actually do that. So now we have top 8 to get through, and since we've already seen both Everest and Maxime, I think it's about time we go back to our number 1, the almost undisputed champion of Europe, Fireicey. I say almost because obviously the Drip Collector got pretty close to dethroning them. But regardless of all that, I mean, yeah, Fireicey, a force not only to be reckoned with, but to be feared. Because, I mean, you don't get to be the best at the game in Europe for that long without building a reputation.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a man who needs no introduction as we get right into the thick of things. But Fireicey, a force to be reckoned with, has been standing at the top of Europe for so long with this Zetterburn, and has also showcased the clear strength with multiple other characters. But the big thing about this man is the consistency. Always finding a way how to get back to grands, always finding a way how to get back to the top. And Cross definitely has their work cut out for them, as Fireicey in this position is nigh unstoppable.
Exactly. I mean, there is a reason why Fireicey is so well known, not even just in Europe. Like, I remember back in Rivals 1's heyday, like, NA players talking about Fireicey, because the man is scary to play against.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But we'll just have to remind ourselves how scary as we go into game 1 on Jules Fail. As someone put it, an EU classic. I'm not sure who said that though. Anyways, already, like, again, Olympia really...
It's a mystery, really.
Yeah, but Olympia really good at building that early percent, but against someone like Fireicey, it's not about the early percent, it's about that, like, X factor, those ending moments in stocks. So, Cross can definitely build percent, but it's about getting those stocks, it's about making sure Fireicey doesn't have a chance to do what they do best. And we're already seeing a lot of it here, just going for that down strong to take the first stock of the game.
I mean, down strong going to be taking the first stock, but the question is what's going to be taking the next. It's just about the damage that's being racked up right now. You can see Fireicey just throwing out aerial after aerial, trying to make sure that Cross remains in a tough position. Up B, going to get sniped out, but once again, Fireicey not going to be going down just yet. The Shine barely not going to connect, putting Fireicey in a tough position. And Crossptn right now just needs one hit, one opportunity, one nair. But you can see right here, Fireicey holding onto the stock for dear life for their sweet spot. Gonna take this Olympia offstage once again, and we're still seeing even more of the dash dances and even more of the Zetter domination.
Yeah, and domination is definitely probably the best way to put it. Again, Fireicey, such mastery over this character, even despite being up against an Olympia who knows how to get in and find those openings, find those ways to build up the percent. Fireicey is just not having any of it, instantly going for a Shine up strong and taking the first game of the set.
Yeah, and just like that, Fireicey showing exactly why this is our first seed, exactly why this is our expected champion. But as you can see, the Zetterburn is nothing to be trifled with. Cross made to look foolish there in game number 1, as Fireicey just going so ham with that Zetterburn. Lots of damage on the Fire Lion, but if you can't get the stock, you can't take this man to the end.
Exactly, and you said earlier about he always finds a way back to grand finals. That's on the off chance that he gets sent down to losers. Like, it is less than a 50-50 on if he gets sent to losers. It's a nigh impossibility unless you have someone like, you know, the Drip Collector, like Everest, Retro, these high level players that just have such experience fighting against specifically Fireicey, let alone Zetterburn. But we don't have...
Oh yeah, I mean, at this point, getting back to grand finals is less of an indicator of being in losers, but more of getting back to grand finals because he was there last tournament.
Exactly. He's just going back to his spot. I mean, Yeah, grand finals is promised to him at this point. Because again, the man is just less a man, more a monster. And we are just going to keep seeing that, especially as we move forward in this set with Trouble Pond for round 2.
Yeah, Trouble Pond in round number 2 does give you the triplat layout, does give you more opportunities to extend some of these combos if you're Crossptn. But right now, Fireicey going to blend in with the stage and just strike from the darkness. Going to continue to stack up all that damage, but Crossptn in a lot of trouble here, trying to sneak back to stage, trying to get that damage in, but one back air, one up strong, and that's the stock lead.
Yeah, and oh my god, he is not slowing down one bit. Crossptn definitely not
already going down.
Yeah, just wasn't expecting to be that low. Clearly, I mean, they had the second up B, but just wasn't using it. It was either confused or scared, and that is definitely the main 2 emotions you should feel when fighting against someone like Fireicey. Okay, I mean, this is just brutal play from the Northern Lion. I am putting an emphasized space between those 2 words.
I could hear the pause.
Yeah.
But right now, we're seeing the pause being laid directly onto this rat. As right now, one up strong would do it. Crossptn in so much trouble, on fire, and not in the good way.
Yeah. Okay, goes for a 4 strong there. Clearly not expecting Crossptn to stay up above them for that long. And I have to say, I've been calling Fireicey the Northern Lion since before Northern Lion became, like, hugely popular. But semantics and names aside, Fireicey taking game 2, taking the name winner. And, I mean, alright.
I mean, popularity is one way to put it, but what has always been popular is Fireicey in a winning position. So right now, Fireicey going to continue on this onslaught. Game number 2 was very, very strong for this beast. And right now, game number 3 on the horizon. Are we going to be able to see the turnaround from Crossptn on this Olympia? Once again, the Olympia can rack up a lot of damage, but actually sealing out the stock tends to be quite a struggle.
Exactly. Well, we'll just have to see as we move into Fire Capital for game 3. Okay, I mean, yeah, already Fireicey just going in, not letting Cross breathe, even for a moment. Okay.
I mean, Fire Capital is one of those stages that usually allows you to stay alive for just a little bit longer, but right now, it's still a matter of taking all of this damage from Fireicey. Crossptn, beautiful parry, but an even more beautiful edge cancel from Fireicey there. Not going to be looking for the kill. Never mind, Upstrong going to be taking this rat off the stage very, very quickly. And once again, the random strongs are going to be the name of the game for Crossptn. If you can land it, you can get a hit. And if you can get a hit, you can get a kill.
Yeah, but, I mean, Fireicey getting in the way of that flowchart. Sure, they're taking the percent, but they are not allowing Crossptn to find the finisher. Cross getting a bit overzealous with these up B attempts, I'd say. They just haven't been finding their mark, especially against Fireicey. But Fireicey, like the tag implies, always finding their mark.
Yeah, I mean, just unbelievable work from Fireicey there. Gonna be able to turn that into a Nair Upstrong opportunity. One down there to start things off, looking for the charge shine. Not gonna land it, but is gonna land that shine Upstrong. And in the end, death taxes shine up strong, Fireicey on winner side. And there's just so many things that seem to be an inevitability the longer you play this game. And whether it be the beginning of Rivals 1 or the end, Fireicey has always been quite the contender.
Yeah, and honestly, he shows no signs of ever stopping. Like, I feel like this game must like sustain him. Bro must be immortal with how he's just continuing to thrive and live off winning this game. But regardless of that, that is one of our semis that's done. So it is time for our next with Everest versus Maxime. So we'll just have to see.
As you can see right here, Everest and Maxime have both showcased just how strong of players they really are, right? Maxime on that Shovel Knight, just finding more and more ways to just comfortably move around and get these hits in where their opponents don't want them. And meanwhile, Everest, right, on the Ori, just moving at 50 billion miles an hour, got a bunch of aerials coming on in and finding ways to turn things into raw bash attempts. But I gotta say, right, the big question here is, will Maxime find a way to limit Everest's movement, right? Because a lot of the Ori Shovel Knight matchup is whether or not the Shovel Knight gets a chance to limit the way that Ori wants to play. Because if Ori gets to do whatever it is that they want, Shovel Knight might as well give up. This character just moves at 50 billion miles an hour, and if you can't put the brakes on it somehow, you're not going to find a way to catch up.
Exactly. But something to note is Maxime does have an Arcane in their pocket as well. Is not seen as often, but it is definitely also a strong part of their game plan, their kit. But we'll just have to see if it comes out as we move into our first game of this semi-set. So let's see. Oh, that's the wrong scene. Don't worry, let me
Don't look at me.
I'll get the right scene and we'll just restart because it's a replay and I can do that. So
Wonderful.
there we go. Yeah, round one, Jules Vale.
All right.
Something classic. And already, yeah, Everest building up that early percent. Maxime is able to, you know, fight back at least.
Yeah, but you can see Everest right now still finding a way back onto stage. Air dodge, double jump forward air, a bit Ori classic for the recovery. But we're seeing quite a bit of the back airs coming out from Maxime. Going to be able to wall this Ori out as long as possible. Another meme number comes through, but it's not going to be much of any matter for very long. Everest right now playing extremely well, already going to be able to steal game number 1 away. But right now at 102%, Maxime going to be on the receiving end for a lot of these hits.
Really like the attempt at the down strong there. Would have probably done a lot better if it slid off the platform, but it's too late. Everest taking that first stock. Maxime really needs to find their opportunity to get their relics in order. But it's just not that simple, especially against someone like Everest who is just constantly in your face.
Yeah, and you can see a lot of the time when Everest does have to recover, it's a lot of the air dodge into aerial, but right here, no air dodge, no aerial to be seen. Just going to be able to sneak right back onto stage. Another parry onto these uppies from Maxime, but right now, Upstrong going to take it for Maxime, not for Everest.
Yeah, and something with Maxime is, unlike a lot of other Shovel Knights, they aren't too focused on, you know, their economy, their gold collection. Like, I feel like most Shovel Knights, after a stock, would go for the fishing attempt to help, you know, build up the reserves and actually get their relics in play, but Maxime taking a more passive approach to it, clearly worrying more about percentages and doing damage, but Everest doesn't have to worry about that at all, can just solely focus on taking those stocks.
Yeah, I mean, you can see just the absolute focus from Everest coming in here, just trying to get as much damage as possible, trying to make sure that Maxime doesn't have the opportunity to go for a relic. Sign charge not quite going to connect just yet, but as we can see, moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Where are the brakes? They don't seem to be found anywhere. Forward strong not going to be seen, but from Everest, it is going to be seen from Maxime instead.
Now, question is, how does this game end? I know I accidentally had a point to Everest there, but that was just because of a last set, so do need to see how this ends. Okay.
Yeah, another one of those air dodge double jump fares coming in for Everest, but Everest in a lot of trouble here. Maxime's continually calling out a lot of these approach options, and once again, if you can force the Ori to approach, if you can force the Ori into a very specific direction, it's very, very good for you, but no pair on the upstrong means that Maxime lives another day.
Yeah,
Jumping back to stage, no double jump available.
Again, Maxime was in such a good position, but the amazing recovery from Everest and then the even better edge guarding is going to afford her the first game of the set. Wonderfully done.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah, beautiful stuff from Everest. Going to be able to pull out a lead for quite a bit of that. Maxime was showing just why the Shovel Knight is to be feared, though. So it's not going to be anything too simple for Everest.
Yeah, but even with that in mind, we do see the switch from Maxime as we move into round 2. Clearly testing to see if Arcane would be a better matchup against Everest's Ori. And we're just going to have to see if that pays off as we go into game 2 on Jaws Fail.
Game number 2 going to be going to that Arcane, and sometimes it really just does come down to player preference. Like, as far as characters are concerned, Shovel Knight might have a stronger matchup here, but it's a big question as to whether or not the Arcane's ability to scrap with the Ori is going to be the one that comes out on top. The bubbles as well make these recoveries so difficult, but as you can see here right now, Maxime forcing specific approaches, but the forward airs into the up air off the side is going to just eat up that Arcane for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And already just not slowing down one bit, already lapsing percent and just not stopping, trying to get rid of that second stock as quickly as possible.
You can see Maxime right now taking triple-digit levels of percentages. Everest moving at 1,000,000,000 miles an hour. What are you going to get off of this sign charge? Not going to be able to turn into much, but there it is. Bubble butt into the up air, but the up strong immediately to respond with another stock lead for Everest.
Yeah, might have been a slight miscalculation on Maxime's part going for the Arcane for the counter pick. Because clearly Shovel Knight was making big moves against Everest. But obviously, if your first character doesn't work, you might as well test out the second, especially if it's best of 5. You have the chance to. And even despite the clear advantage on Everest's side, Maxime is doing pretty damn good with their Arcane here.
Yeah, doing quite well, but one back air could put this Arcane in a terrible position. But right here, one sign charge. Up B is a force, and forward strong not going to kill. Arcane still heavier off the sides, but once again, the up air going to catch that DI, and Everest takes game number 2.
Yeah, and I think I saw that Maxime probably could have made it back to ledge there with just an Orca hop, if the animation is anything to go off of, but even despite
it would have been
that,
close.
Yeah, it would have been close, but despite that, yeah, again, Maxime wasn't able to take it with their Arcane, so they are going to be switching back to Shovel Knight for game 3. Hopefully that does a little better than the last 2 games. So we'll just have to see as we go into game 3 on Godai. Gates, not Godai. This is Rivals 1. Anyway.
Ethereal Gates, here we are. So, gonna be one of those stages that does give you quite a bit more room to breathe, quite a bit more space in that blast zone to survive, and for a heavier character like Shovel Knight, especially since Maxime's the type to go for the momentum mail, it's very, very easy to find yourself at a higher percent for longer on a stage like this one. But one thing to note that we didn't see in these last few games was the bash from Everest, and a lot of the times it will take a couple games for the calibration. So I'm expecting to see the bash kills come through for Everest here, allowing the earlier kills, but Forward Strong is still going to be able to do it as long as you got that pair incoming.
Again, I just have to say, like, Maxime was doing real nice in game 1, even taking that last stock lead. But they just need to really focus in on getting those kills, finding those final moments in stocks. Because they're really good at building up the damage. It's about the kills at the end of the day. Okay.
Yeah, it's about the kills at the end of the day. Triple digits, though. And one thing that an Ori cannot resist is Big Rock, but we can see Maxime immediately getting rid of it and punishing Everest at the same time, able to get that kill. Back air not going to connect, and a single one of those back air hits would turn immediately into an F strong or an up strong. But speaking of up strongs, 2 up strongs going to whiff, the down strong eventually going to find that kill, and here we are, momentum mail. Maxime has reached that mid-game Shovel Knight build.
Yeah, exactly. And we just have to see how far they can go with it, because they were pretty late getting momentum mail game 1. So this could really help them out in this game, at least. Just have to see as they try and even out the percents. Okay.
Yeah, trying to even out the percents is one way to put it, but right now, Maxime going to try to survive as long as possible. The beautifully large blast zones of Ethereal Gates going to work out very, very well in their favor. Double jumping above that up tilt, and Maxime just barely misses out on the up tilt for the Shovel Knight, but once again able to survive for quite a bit of time until the raw up strong comes on through.
Yeah, just calling out Maxime's movement, but its last stock full relic kit is in play. Maxime opting for the Warhorn over the more, I suppose, meta pick of Ghost Gloves or Mobile Gear. But regardless, I mean,
for both the Ghost Gloves and the Mobile Gear, their entire job is just to make neutral a little bit more palatable for the Shovel Knight. Maxime's not having trouble in the neutral. Maxime just wants to find a way how to steal this stock away from Everest as quickly as possible, but one more opportunity for Everest right now, and not going to be able to hold on to it for very long. One up air to start. Forward strong. No, it's not going to be that tech roll read for Everest here.
Okay, catches them with the dagger. This is looking real close. It could go either way this game. But Everest with that high percent and Maxime just going for it with that up strong means we are seeing more than 3 games on this day. And Maxime takes it, so we just have to see, are we going to see Everest knock Maxime down to losers, or are we going to see a game 5 at least?
Yeah, are we going to be seeing the potential reverse sweep coming in from Maxime? My big question here is, are we going to be seeing the momentum mail Shovel Knight before the last stock once again? Because that seems to really be the one that decides things for Maxime, for Everest, right? Because Maxime's play on that momentum mail Shovel Knight is so much more terrifying.
Well, we'll just have to hope and pray as we see by going into game 4 on Treetop Lodge. This could be a
treetop.
very nice stage for both of them. I mean, as we've seen, both of these players' movements, especially Everest on Ori, is so strong, and these, you know, non-parallel platforms are so nice for movement like theirs.
Yeah, I mean, the platform layout itself is, generally speaking, very good for Ori, but against a character like Shovel Knight, who can cover some of these platforms with that extremely large up tilt, it could turn into even more disaster for Everest. Maxime finding a way how to sneak back onto stage, and these platforms as well going to give that Shovel Knight more opportunities to sneak those recoveries in, but the up airs coming through for Everest, not going to turn it into much more than damage, but the up strong from Maxime gonna turn a stock lead over for this Shovel Knight.
Yeah, it's looking real nice for both of them. I mean, Maxime clearly a lot more confident than they were in the first 2 games. Just calling out what Everest does a lot. These, like, you know, random call-outs with up strong, these back and forth movements. These two have played each other quite a few times, so Maxime clearly knows how to at least put up with Everest.
Yeah, but right now, Maxime needs to find a way how to get to that momentum mail. We've seen it time and time again that the momentum mail is a huge game changer. Board strong gonna take Everest off the side, but not gonna take the stock just yet. 55% and counting. Yet more tech roll reads with these strong attacks from Everest. You can see that she's just fishing for it, but up strong just barely going to miss. Maxime in a wonderfully strong position here though, and the up strong pair is going to take Maxime right off the top before we have a chance of stock to momentum mail.
Yeah, and again, like, Maxime not using the Halo invulnerability to get the momentum mail, but getting it after taking that second stock. I mean, this is really close. Sure, the percent's in Everest's favor at the moment, but if Maxime can really get in Everest's face before she can get in his, yeah, like this is gonna open her up for a lot of percent. Okay.
Yeah, definitely going to open up a lot of percent here. And there's those up tilts that we were talking about earlier, right? Just covering a lot of these platforms, covering a lot of these approach options. And if you can limit an Ori approach option, you can limit their win conditions. But right here, a back air coming in from Everest. The latest back air needed to send this Shovel Knight off stage. A down strong in neutral from Maxime. A beautiful call out, but the up strong's coming on through. Everest is getting antsy.
Yeah, it's not looking great for either of them. That forward strong not gonna kill just yet. Okay, over 100% for both of them. Just one strong option, and this game, potentially the set is over. Yeah, no double jump, no, still has air dodge. Okay, back on stage. Okay, Everest really good at
looking for the raw strong.
Yeah, and really good at just avoiding these side Bs, making sure it is just a recovery and not more damage and knockback. Again, Maxime finding so many opportunities to end the game, but just not able to do so. Same with Everest, but a strong back air there. Maxime forced to recover, gets caught by that up strong, and Everest with that frame, that last frame ton, I heard it, takes game 4 and the set, meaning she will be moving
Everest, on. Yeah, Everest with all of the strong attacks you could ever ask for, is going to be able to take game number 4 in a very close nail biter of a game. But in the end, that is going to be for winner side for now. I do believe we're going to be moving over to watch a couple loser sets.
Yes. We will be moving over to, if I can actually finish setting it up fully, we'll be moving over to losers quarters to see Maxime versus Enid Bunny. And then on the other side, we did have, again, no Elfnon replays apart from obviously start of bracket. But we did have Crossptn face Elphanon and take it 3-1. So that means Crossptn is our first loser semis placement. But yeah, we do have a full set to go over with Maxime versus Enid Bunny. So we'll just get straight into that.
All right. And we saw Maxime in that last game just showing a very, very terrifying Shovel Knight. But right here, it's Shovel Knight versus another rat of a character, just finding more ways to be extremely, extremely terrifying. If you get caught in one aerial, you'll get caught in 6 more. Do not even think about getting away from these air characters.
Exactly.
Or he's an air character. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Well, if we're going by lore, she'd be an Earth character, but that's a discussion for another day. Anyway, semantics of gas character elements aside, yeah, Enid Bunny and Maxime. So it's gonna be a very hard one for Enid. Again, I believe Maxime was our 3rd seed. I'm actually able to check that, so I will. Remember, guys, Start GG is a functional and easy to use website. Yeah, Maxime, our 3rd seed. Everest in 2nd. So it's not gonna be easy. I mean, Enid Bunny, not bottom seed, was actually seated above Elfnon and Cookies, and I mean, did end up placing her seed, so fair enough. Regardless of seeding and all that, let's just get straight into it with game 1 on Jules Vale.
All right. And Jules Vale to start things off. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are. There's always going to be a classic starting stage. But right here, it's not going to be in the Neo Jules Vale. Last time we did see Enid Bunny on the Neo variant of this stage. But Maxime not taking time for anything new. Still just going to be throwing out the same old aerials that do the same old damage. 46 to 48, though. Very, very close in percent for both of these players.
Okay. Goes for the Infinidagger there. And it does pay off. So Maxime is now off stage, having to face off against Enid's barrage of notes. She's doing really well at doing these edge guards when they get Maxime off stage. Doing really well, actually. Again, if you look at her performance from the last time we saw her, again, a lot of nice improvement here. But of course, Maxime just going in, not making this even the slightest bit easy.
Yeah, not making it the slightest bit easy is one way to put it, but looking for a forward air, looking for a way how to actually kill. Maxime, as we noted, is extremely strong with that momentum mail, and this time we're seeing this mid-game Shovel Knight build in the first stop.
Oh, Enid getting caught underneath the anchor and not able to tech it, meaning she is on her last stock already, while Maxime just loses his first.
Yeah, but you can see right now, Maxime still building up that kingdom, picking up as much gold as possible. We've got the down tilts, we've got the up airs, but we're not going to be seeing the end of this game just yet. If Enid Bunny can do anything about it, it's just damage on damage for both of these players. The notes, they circle around the mouse on repeat, but they're not doing too much until you let them go. Up strong for Maxime, not going to kill just yet, but another up strong would certainly do it.
Yeah, Enid really not getting the opportunity to let her notes fly, especially as Maxime, again with this momentum mail, is able to be wherever they want to be, and especially with an up air like that, that is definitely going to do it for game 1 against Enid Bunny.
Right, and Maxime gonna take game number 1 in a very confident fashion. as we saw the Shovel Knight able to pick up that momentum mail in stock number 1, and meaning quite a bit. I gotta say, Shovel Knight has a lot of spikes. We gotta give Shovel Knight another spike. We gotta just I need Shovel Knight's taunt to spike. It just has to. Just give it a spike right at the bottom. Right? We've already got up special, down air, up strong fully charged if we're counting the rock. We've got horn, we've got down tilt, we've got down strong, and if we can add in that taunt, that's spike number 8.
Specifically, it should be special taunt, the hitbox of the helmet.
Oh my god.
Yeah, where the helmet falls off. Yeah, guys, so what if it's been, 2 years since end of changes? Who cares? Just do it for the fun of it.
For the bit. For the bit.
Any-
All right. All of these silly moments aside, game number 2 is anything but silly. Enid Bunny and Maxime still going toe-to-toe. Once again, we are going to be seeing no platforms in our platform fighter. It's going to be a training stage variant of Endless Abyss, though.
You don't... As much as you don't see Endless Abyss too often, you really don't see Training Grid. Like, I love this stage. For some reason, Abyss and Training Grid were always my counterpicks as a Shovel Knight, and I mean, Maxime makes it work as well. Already getting that first stock, only 30 seconds in.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Jules Vale was honestly a great pick for Enid Bunny because we saw so much control in the way that those platforms would move around, but this time we are seeing Maxime and Enid Bunny just continuing to go toe-to-toe with one another. There's just so little room on this stage for this rat to exist. One up air could do it once again.
Yeah, I mean, already just going for the raw Armstrong, a Shovel Knight classic. Enid just looking for any way in, but Maxime just going for it. And of course, Orbi being the just instigator that they are, really does just make the Shovel Knight matchup worse for the person on the other side if you go to this stage.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely a struggle right there, but Maxime struggling to find a way back to the stage is not actually struggling, but once again, Enid Bunny in a tough position, needs to find an opportunity. The forward strong not going to do it. A down strong certainly would have, unless you get that, sweet spot on the forward strong, but right now, triple digits and a down strong from Maxime will purple. No chance of surviving there.
And in game 2, handily goes to Maxime. Yeah, Enid Bunny struggling with these, I guess, knowledge checks when it comes to how to end these stocks. Because as you said, down strong would have done it, maybe even up strong, I think. So maybe a room to improve that. But regardless of, all that, we do have game 3 that accidentally just auto-started instead of queuing up. So, yeah, Frozen Gates for game 3.
Yeah, Frozen Gates for game number 3, a much larger stage as far as the blast zones are concerned. We're not going to be seeing those down strongs kill this palm with a purple at, sub 100%, but right now we are still seeing the kills almost come through. Thank you, larger blast zones.
Okay. Guess the sour spot of down strong, but is still able to kill. Yeah, this is looking so strong for Maxime right now. Okay.
Maxime in quite a bit of control, still continuing on this onslaught. The up tilts come through, the aerials come through, the forward strong jump scare going to be able to take that stock lead, and here comes that momentum mail continuing on this onslaught. once again, Maxime just getting hit after hit, and Enid Bunny is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, yeah, Maxime just holding on to that first stock. Enid Bunny doing her best to get rid of it, but Maxime is making that just a Herculean challenge for her. Okay. Oh my god.
Right, and down strong from Maxime calls out the parry, and in the end, 3-0 and a handshake, but a beautiful run for Enid Bunny there as Maxime moves on to those losers semis.
Yeah, like, again, I've been saying Enid has such potential to be amazing at this game. Like, her neutral and just the use of her kit is so strong. It's just about finding those counter options. You know, the edge guards, the parry punishes, stuff like that. But I swear, as soon as she gets some of those down, she is going to be a force to be reckoned with. But we are going to have to say goodbye to her at 5th place, for this bracket at least. But with that, we will be moving back up to winner's side to see Fireicey vs Everest.
Right, Fireicey and Everest in winners finals. This is going to be one of the highest octane matches, if not the highest octane match of the night. We're going to have to get straight into the swing of things. Once again, Ori versus Aether burn going to be extremely high damage. That is not Maxime, that is Fireicey, but we're going to be seeing, you know, neutral win on neutral win versus single neutral win, meaning death. So the moment Everest slips up a single time, Fireicey is immediately going to be on that, capitalizing extremely quickly. And the big question is Everest going to be able to seal out these stocks on Fireicey very consistently? We've been seeing a lot of reliance on the strong attacks, on the tech chase strong attacks from Everest, so we're gonna have to see if the true kill confirms from Fireicey are going to come out on top, or if the ever crazy reads from Everest are going to be able to find their mark.
I mean, we have seen her do pretty damn good against Fireicey in the past, so it's not out of the question. But we'll just have to see. I mean, game 1, Tower of Heaven, and already 40% on the Zetaban, but they are fighting back with a passion right now.
Yeah, you can see right now Everest in quite a bit of control. No air dodge for Fireicey, not going to get the punish, but is going to get the bash. And the side charge into bash from Everest going to be a true combo to start things off.
Okay.
How long can you hold on to this lead? Not very long. 2% separates the two of them. Fireicey and Everest already dropping down to Smash 4 stocks. But one parry to start things off, one down tilt to turn it around, and Fireicey misses the Waveland, going to be in a tough position now.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, again, both onto their second stocks. Everest is evening out the percents at least a little bit, but how long can they do so for? Okay. I mean, Fireicey going in to try and edge guard. Okay, raw uncharged forward strong there. Good side charge, and Fireicey first to drop to their last stock. But knowing Fireicey...
First to drop to the finals.
Yeah, last stock, yeah,
First drop to the final stock, but the question is, what are you going to do? It is going to be Everest dropping that stock as well, but Fireicey right now still trying to find an opportunity. We're seeing a couple misinputs here and there from Fireicey, but at the very least, Everest in a tough position. Needs to find a way how to get that percent lead back from this Fire Lion. good read on that early up B from Fireicey. Up tilt from Everest, gonna catch that platform though. No air dodge for Fireicey, but not gonna get punished.
Okay. Fireicey just all over her right now. And that up strong is definitely gonna do it and take game 1 for Fireicey. Hey.
Yeah, and Fireicey just like that, going to be able to take game number 1. Game number 1 was on, Tower of Heaven. Game number 2, I'm questioning if we're going to be making a return to the triplats that allow this Zetterburn to just continue to farm this Ori, continue to stay on the controlled side.
Well, it technically has 3 platforms. Jules Vale for game 2. As
Jules Vale has 2 platforms.
2. Well, I'm gonna the main stage. That's what's the technicality. Anyway.
True, but...
Oh, okay. Going for the fully charged Shine Spike there. Okay. Fireicey.
This is a tough position to find yourself. I mean, when the only option you have as Ori is to recover high, at the very least, Ori's high recovery is one of their strongest, but you're not going to be able to high recover above that down strong. Fireicey already taking that first stock before the sun rises.
Exactly. Okay, good parry on the down tilt. I'm not going to find much of it just yet, as Everest goes in, trying to build up that percent, trying to at least bring the stock count back. But it's going to be so difficult for her. She does miss the bash, but is still looking...
Bash was extremely close, but not going to be staying close for too much longer. Up strong for Everest, going to be able to even up that stock count. 50% on the Ori. Fireicey was using that invincibility to run straight at her, but unfortunately for him, not going to be able to catch her, and this is the result. Immediately fired back in terms of percents.
Yeah, but Fireicey not letting that get him down. Just already percents are back to even, but Fireicey is not letting that stay that way for long. Everest just avoiding all these big moves, but that is unavoidable. Whoa. A very nice conversion into up strong there off the parry.
Yeah, I was expecting a shine up strong from Fireicey, but instead goes for the falling up air into up strong. Still going to be able to find a way to connect it, and no sweet spot until it's needed. Fireicey going to be wrapping up game number 2 with a 2 stock. And game number 1 on the triplats, game number 2 went down to 1.5 plats, as far as I'm concerned. Are we going to go to Endless Abyss for game number 3? As far as I'm aware, I don't believe Everest is an Endless Abyss enjoyer, so I don't think it's going to be coming up, but we're going to have to see for ourselves.
Well, if anything, we're going in the opposite direction of that trend as we move to 4 platforms with Merchant.
Ooh. All right, staying on nothing but starter stages as Everest and Fireicey still just go toe-to-toe. It's just aerials on aerials, and as long as Zetter has control in the neutral, you know that Ori's struggling.
Exactly. I mean, already off stage, huge forward airs from Fireicey. Just so much percent in such a short amount of time. Looking to end it. Catches the air dodge, gets a follow-up off of that down air. Only 5% on Fireicey and a stock away from Everest.
Yeah, Everest right now trying to get a little bit of extra damage on these conversions. You got those jabs, you got those F-tilts, you got those turnarounds, you got those sign taps, but you don't have control just yet. Fireicey still has a double jump, still has a way back to stage. Forward air sends the Zetter off, and Bash takes him over the blast zone. But right here, 14% on the Ori. Are we going to see the turnaround as far as control goes?
Just have to see. I mean, already it is back to even, but Fireicey again as soon as they see that number being even, is doing something about it. Goes a bit too far for the
and
offstage.
he saves her.
Yeah.
Yeah, saves her for quite a bit of time, but the down air actually going to hit with that landing hit. Bash is a guarantee, and Everest going to be taking the stock lead in game number 3.
But for how long can she keep it? I mean, with that parry.
Shine up strong.
Yeah. Okay. Last
Alright.
stock. Fireicey finds their way in. Only for a brief moment, but can they regain that brief moment of control? Okay. Everest starting to rack up the percent here. Okay.
Again, we can see Fireicey and Everest still just a matter of who actually has the control here. The fireballs are coming through. The fire damage is more than enough, and Everest going to drop down the plat drop, getting caught for the DI, and Everest getting taken out by Fireicey and the crazy forward air sweet spot.
Yeah, I mean, clearly that plat drop was definitely working against Everest there, because if she just stayed on that platform, she would have been able to DI that and potentially take the game. But Fireicey taking it with a 3-0 victory. As we said earlier, finding their way back to Grands as he should be. But that does mean we are back down to our losers side, as we have losers semis, and I only have one of the sets. What do you mean? Oh wait, no, yeah, it's a one set. Semis, not quarters.
Yeah, it's just loser semis.
I've been TOing for 2 years.
We finished quarters. We finished quarters.
Okay, well, with that, we do have our losers semis of Maxime versus Crossptn. So it's going to be an interesting one. Shovel Knight versus Olympia. My two mains. So it's very exciting for me, at least, to see. Not a matchup you see too often either, I'd say.
Oh yeah, 100%. But here we are, Shovel Knight and Olympia. I am inclined to say that I can see the Shovel Knight doing pretty dang well in a matchup like this, right? Where your job is to play keep away, and your opponent's job is to play keep in, right? So if you can wall out with the back airs, if you can wall out with those side Bs, then it'll be looking quite good for Maxime. But Crossptn on the other side is going to just be throwing those aerials out on repeat.
Okay. Yeah, well, I guess there's no better time to get into it than right now, as we start our loser semi set on, if I can actually get it queued up, on Jules Fail. Okay, and already,
All right.
yeah, Maxime scrapping already. Not playing the keep away we were expecting, just getting in Cross's face.
Yeah, just so much control for Maxime here. But Cross right now, exactly what we expected, right? It's aerials on aerials on aerials. And if the Olympia's not hitting a button, the Olympia's probably getting hit by a button. But right now, Maxime off stage could be in a lot of trouble. No parry coming on through. It's all about the aerials. If it doesn't do damage, we're not seeing it happen from Cross.
Okay, I mean, a very nice percentage lead for Maxime here. Goes for the up airs, not going to kill just yet. Okay, back air, and the side B to finish it off. One stock down already with momentum mail. Okay, that could have been a huge punish for Cross, but they just didn't find the time to get it. Was there a wall jump? Oh no!
Oh no!
They accidentally used their wall jump.
Yeah, momentum mail usually ends up meaning a stock is going down soon, but not usually like that. Mind control edge guards still end up reigning supreme tonight, but right here, Crossptn needs to find some way back in. Maxime's not going to let it happen.
Very nice using the gem as a combo extender there. Hey, stock down on Maxime. That could have been massive, but obviously it would have been a suicide play to go for a second. Regardless of that, I mean, yeah, despite the huge stock difference, Cross is putting in the
What
work.
Stock difference?
No stock difference. Ignore me. But the percentage difference is a whole nother story. But if Cross can keep playing how they've been playing, it's not going to matter too much. But if Maxime keeps playing how they've been playing, it's going to make all the difference.
Yeah, I mean, Cross, after Maxime picked up that momentum mail, never mind. The moment that we open our mouths, we're immediately made into liars. Crossptn going to be going down in game number 1. Maxime, very, very scary on that Shovel Knight, but we see exactly why you cannot sleep on Cross.
Yeah, and guys, you can't call it Commentators curse if the game's happened a month ago. Anyways, that aside, yeah, I mean, again, that was a very back and forth game. Despite the mind control, despite everything, it went down to last start. Cross is putting in the work. So it's not as simple as, oh, Maxime is 3rd seed, he wins. Cross is going to make it difficult for that to be the case, but obviously Maxime rises to the challenge so often. So it's about how easily they can take this. And with that, we go to the ring for game 2.
Yeah, going to the row ring for game number 2. We saw that last game go extremely, extremely poorly for Cross at the beginning, but it started to be brought back because of these early kills. And if there's a stage about early kills, it's this one.
Yeah. Always has been the case. No matter what game you're in, if it's Rock Wall, if it's got these side blast zones, someone's dying soon. Like, this is pretty neutral percent, but I can see a stock being taken in the next, I don't know, 20 seconds, I'd say. And you can hold me to that.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, I certainly will. Upstrong not gonna connect just yet. And Hikori almost being made out to be a liar, but the down air's not going to connect. And yet, once again, it is just going to be a matter of blows being traded. 1, 2, 3 versus 1, 1, 0. And these two just keeping it extremely even. 20 seconds on the dot. And just like that, Crossptn and Maxime still keeping the play as high octane as possible.
Exactly. Oh, that forward strong is definitely going to do it. Yeah, Maxime just 200 short from momentum mail, I believe. So not buying it just yet. Okay, but even without it, just perfect positioning from Maxime in this play-to-play. Going for the side B, oh my god!
Oh!
Yeah, it doesn't get the hitbox they probably wanted there for the kill, knocking Crossptn back onto stage rather than into the blast zone. Okay.
Yeah, Forge Strong has started off. Yeah, but not going to be able to get much more off of that. And right now, we can see Crossptn and Maxime still trying to trade the hits. The question is, who's going to trade the stocks? Last time around, it was Maxime who came out on top for these early stocks. But this time, Crossptn going to be the one forcing Maxime on an in. The up B in neutral, not going to be a strong enough call out, but the momentum mail for Maxime might make things tough for this Olympia.
Yeah, I'd like to believe that up B was a misinput, maybe looking for a cancel side B in the gem field. But something I am noting about Crossptn, they are not using down B or gem field too offensively especially in this set. Oh,
Oh!
that killed? Okay. Sure.
I mean, sometimes that's just how it be, you know? All right, you try to drift away from your opponent. You're trying to avoid any side B follow-up, but it ends up having you kiss that blast zone a little bit too early. So game number 2 going to be going into Maxime's pocket. And at game number 3, where are we going to be seeing ourselves? Game number 1 was a relatively neutral stage that many like for Shovel Knight. And game number 2, a very, very Olympia happy stage for those who like those early kills.
Yeah. Well, for game 3, we are just... Okay. Thanks, game. We are just stepping back into the ring for game 3. So, again, a very volatile stage, I'd say. Okay.
Yeah, extremely volatile, but here we are. Volatility is the name of the game. Nair to start it off, and Maxime going to try to rack up the damage early, but Crossptn staying in control, still has all the aerials in the world to play around with.
Exactly. I mean, percent's pretty even so far. Maxime does have cross off stage in that recovery period. Goes, oh, gets the down strong. It's not going to kill just yet, though. Okay, side B bringing cross to the side, and just the jump scare forward strong to close off this first stock on our Olympia. Okay.
And you can see right here, Crossptn still, with all of these aerials, able to cover so much space, able to just deny so much control, and you're not going to be able to hold on to that stock lead for long if you're Maxime. Crossptn, once again, Nair number 2 to start it off, going to not be able to fall because of that up tilt, walling out that approach.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, Maxime trying, Crossptn trying for the gem field pop, but Maxime's up tilt snuffing that out entirely. Okay. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. If someone takes a look at Crossptn's controller, like, that has got to be textbook controller abuse. The A button is just taking so many hits. It's just always going to be a move being thrown out here. But parry to start it off, not gonna be able to get the kill. Shovel Knight, heavy enough to survive on a stage like this one.
Tries to call out the tech read there. Okay. Not killing just yet. What are we gonna see here? So, oh, a nice fake out from Maxime. The forward strong, again, jump scare. Cross on the last stock of game 3. Okay.
Got momentum mail, and we've got forward air, and we've got a final stock, potentially, for both Crossptn and Maxime.
Yeah, and it's really not looking great for Cross here, as Maxime just keeps piling on the percent. Just continuously throwing out hit after hit. Okay. The down B, I think, must have been a misinput there. Okay.
Perhaps, but right now, forward air not gonna connect, and Maxime in a lot of trouble.
Panic parries from Cross. Okay.
Up B? No, not going to be seeing that up B anytime soon. Instead, it's going to be those forward airs. The Nair from Maxime in a beautiful position, looking for the strongs. An up strong will do it. A forward strong will do it. A down strong will certainly do it. But we can see from Crossptn, we're seeing just aerials on aerials. One opening, one Nair could do it. The up air just barely falls out, surviving for a little bit longer. The horn comes through, not going to be able to play the tune for the Grim Reaper just yet, though. Here we go. One, two, still not going to connect.
This is real close on the horn. Side to side, coast to coast. Clearing out that last stock from Crossptn and making it so Maxime will be moving on into losers finals to face off against Everest once more.
All right, and here we go. Losers finals on the horizon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just our last three last two sets even to go. So let's get those ready as quickly as possible. And we'll just get straight into it as I ready our bracket to show what we have going forward. So again, Maxime moving in onto losers finals to face off against Everest. Now, obviously, we saw Maxime take a game last time, so who knows? Will we see, Everest take a loss here? It is hard to say, but regardless, it is time. Losers finals, Maxime versus Everest, if I actually set this up right. There we go. Okay. So with all that out the way, it is time. Let us get straight into it. I have the replays ready, and we'll just go straight into game one on a stage. Oh no. It's whatever. But regardless, already, Everest taking the first point here. Taking those first few hits. Yeah, I really do feel like Maxime is slowly getting this download on Everest.
Yeah, slowly getting the download is definitely one way to view it, but right here, Everest still trying to find a way how to run away with this lead, right? It's always about just trying to make sure that there's no chance for the Shovel Knight to actually play the game if you are the Ori, but sealing out the stocks has always been a bit of a struggle for Everest.
Okay. Not able to tech the forward strong though, meaning Maxime is the first to lose a stock in this game. Goes for the down air, probably looking for the spike, but only gets the sweet spot instead. Yeah, Everest's just moving right now. Nice.
Yeah, it might just be moving around, but forward strong from Maxime, going to be able to even out that stock to start things off. Momentum Mail is so far away though. 56% on the Shovel Knight is something you have to take a lot of control with.
Exactly. We'll just have to see how this keeps going. I mean, despite the percent lead from Everest's side, Maxime not slowing down one bit, not deterred, just going in against this Ori. Okay. Very nice. Oh, Everest just holding out for that up strong a bit too long, giving Maxime enough of a chance to get their own up strong there.
Yeah, I mean, the up strong doesn't quite connect just yet, but 132 and counting, you're gonna start to see, Ori struggle outside of these raw strongs, and once again, Everest relying on the raw strongs, gonna be able to land it. Down strong from Maxime, gonna even out that stock count right quick, and here comes Momentum Mail. Last time it showed that Maxime was a monster with this Momentum Mail, but right here, the question is it going to be enough of a change quickly enough?
It is already looking that way, Ante. I mean, we've just seen their movement allows them so much opportunity just to build up the percent and just get in the way of Everest's plans. Okay, is able to recover quite nicely, but for how long is that going to afford them freedom? Not long enough. I mean, 105 and rising. Everest is looking in a very tough spot here. Just, at this point, fighting for scraps. Oh my god, the
scraps
snipe.
is one way to put it, but the side B from Maxime is going to take up the rest of the food on the dinner table. And game number one going over to Shovel Knight. As I mentioned, right? If you can control where the Ori goes, you can control the narrative, and you control the narrative, you can control the game count. Game number 1 to the Shovel Knight today, but are we going to be seeing this continue as the set goes on?
Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's by going to Forest Floor for game 2. And yeah, already Maxime just trying to, again, control where Everest goes, because as we've seen, Everest's biggest strength is her movement, is her ability to control the space. And already, a very nice bit of percent on Maxime. Okay, good jab check on the parry there. Okay.
Yeah, good jab check to start things off, but once again, it's look at those percents, right? Maxime able to stay alive for long enough. The Forward Strong actually going to be catching Everest off guard there. Another Forward Strong to continue this control. And when the Ori's forced to approach is when you can start to really get all of the control out of the walling technique from the Shovel Knight. But Maxime, once again, in a tough position, might get Forward Stronged for his troubles, but not going to be going down anytime soon.
Exactly, and it's also doing a really good job at just checking all of Everest's options here. Even in edgeguard situations, like, their up air is proving so useful in just avoiding anything Everest wants to go for, challenges her up strong, and is not slowing down one bit.
Not slowing down whatsoever. We are seeing the up B come through perfectly placed on that up air weight from Maxime, but a side B to take yet another bit of damage there. Raw Forward Strong not going to kill even at 160. Momentum Mail doing such a big amount of work for Maxime, but another raw up strong for Everest, going to be able to take one stock, but not even up the stock count anytime soon.
Nah, and I feel at this point, with a character as light as Ori, I mean, I feel like Horn at edge of stage is going to kill by itself, so Everest really having to be careful here of anything Maxime tries. Falls out of the up air, so no kill there, but 135% on Ori. This is a death sentence for Everest right now.
Yeah, I mean, any sweet spot will kill, and the sweet spot up strong will do it. Maxime gonna take game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, this is a complete inverse of their last set against each other so far, where Everest took the first 2 games. Clearly, as I said, Maxime has downloaded Everest and is just reading everything that she wants to do. So, for game 3, where else do we go but back to Julesvale?
Going back to Julesvale, this is one of those stages that I do think is relatively good for the Shovel Knight. I mean, in the end, it's going to come down to player preference, though, and as we can see, Everest comfortably moving around this stage, comfortably controlling how much, neutral wins that she's able to get here.
And she's continuing to do such a good job at getting those jab checks. So, but honestly, when you're so close to the edge of the stage, running away with it isn't going to do you much of a favor if they can just catch up to you before any options come out. Okay, already Everest looking in a much better position here. 100% on the Shovel Knight's head. Goes for the upstrong, not gonna kill just yet. Shovel Knight, a heavy boy. Okay.
Yeah, heavy is one way to put it. That upstrong going to be putting this Ori into yet another awful moment. Bash on the rock, able to put Everest into a winning position, and once again, we are seeing Maxime try to sneak a lead back and gonna take it immediately.
Exactly. Okay. Again, Maxime knowing just to not give Everest anything Everest clearly not privy to the angles of up strong rock. And you Ori's just cannot resist bashing Shovel Knight rock. She even tried it there when Maxime was right in front of her. The greed sickens me, and it is paying dividends for Maxime. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, paying off extremely well for Maxime. The Forge Strong not going to kill, and another bash attempt still not going to do it. No resources for Maxime.
Is still able to make it back on stage pretty nicely, but just gets sniped by that Upstrong. Okay, full loadout complete. Is Maxime gonna get much with the Horn though? We did see them kill with it in their last set, but are they going to get a kill here on Everest and knock her out at 3rd place, or is Everest gonna stage one hell of a comeback?
I mean, we can see the nerves coming in from Maxime, the nerves coming in from Everest, both of them just hitting buttons, just trying to find their way in. Well, down tilt from Everest, what are you going to turn that into? And another one of those up tilts going to just barely whiff from Maxime. It could mean the down strong, and a 3-0 for Maxime getting into Grands.
Yeah, a complete inverse of last time. So confident, such an amazing set from both players. Maxime running it back, not dropping anything against Everest there. Which means we are on to our last set of the bracket, our grand finals. Maxime versus Fireicey. So let's just get straight into it and finish this bracket off with a very strong one. So let me... Oh, for some reason they zipped the files in the drive, so I've got to do that. That's fine. Okay.
You know how it is.
Yeah. Anyways. Okay, so I've got something to show after this set, but for now I have the replays ready, which means I have the set ready, which means we can get straight into it with grand finals.
All right, grand finals, here we go. Fireicey versus Maxime. It's just going to be the ever so close to the blast zone Fireicey, just always finding way to drag someone to the other side, and Maxime on the other end of the stage, just trying to survive as long as possible on that Shovel Knight. Can Maxime wall out the Zetterburn, or will Fireicey find a way to slip through?
Well, it's about time we find out as we go on Julesvale for game 1. Okay, already just scrapping with each other. But Fireicey piling on that percent, keeping Maxime at bay, keeping them off stage, and just always finding those forward air sweet spots.
Always finding those sweet spots, always finding the right moments. And here we are, Fireicey and Maxime still able to trade damage.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Up strong to get them off stage, but that could have been a terrible position. Still could be, as Maxime is now off stage. Guess their up air parried. Beautifully done from Fireicey.
Yeah, and able to just sneak that first stock away right quick. And Zetterburn, one of those characters that's able to just punish this Shovel Knight so much, but no air dodge could mean disaster for Fireicey. Now, up strong will do it. Maxime gonna even up that stock count. Momentum mail on deck.
Okay. I mean, already a terrible position to be in for Maxime, and they're only at 60%. That's the kind of person Fireicey is. You can be at a neutral high percent, and it is just terrifying, especially if they find something like that to knock you down onto your last stock.
Yeah, and just like that, Maxime potentially going down in game number 1. As we can see, Fireicey just gonna continue on this onslaught, just refuses to let up any bit whatsoever.
Exactly. Okay. Oh, that could have been a shine up strong if Fireicey was ready for it. Okay, Maxime gets them off stage, isn't able to get the kill though. Does get the parry on the up strong, up B even, and gets the kill. Okay, last.
Yeah, I was gonna say that DI was looking godlike from Fireicey, but right now, Maxime is looking to make this god bleed, but no, the god will not. It is just going to be down strong consume, and Maxime goes down in game number 1. Fireicey continuing onwards.
Yeah, and doing so terrifyingly. So we just have to see, will they keep this pressure up in game 2? It isn't about can they, because we know Fireicey can. It's more about will they? Will Maxime be able to break through, or are they just going to be the one to be broken? Only way to find out is by going to Forest Floor for game 2. And already Fireicey, again, just getting Maxime off stage as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, does manage to get this Shovel Knight off stage very quickly, but can you turn that into much more than just a positional advantage? As we can see, the moment that Shovel Knight gets back on stage, it does seem to be very tough for the Fire Lion, but one F-tilt, looking for that forward air sweet spot, and not going to find it anytime soon.
Okay, good forward tilt. Not going to kill just yet, but that up air beautifully placed is going to do so. Not looking great for Maxime. Okay. Oh my god. Already so quickly elapsing percents. Again, Fireicey.
Full lap in percents. Full lap in percent from Fireicey. Up strong, no! Actually opts for the shine forward air sweet spot, and Maxime not ready for that one. Just as we weren't. Up tilts coming in, and Fireicey seems to not care about any of the invincibility from Maxime. It's just all about the damage.
Okay. Uh-oh. Okay, no sweet spots there. But the shine up strong. Tail is all this time. That's going to do it for game 2. Fireicey, as usual, with a very strong lead so far. So the question is, can Maxime take a game? Can they take a few? I doubt we're going to see a reset, but can we at least see more than a 3-0 is the main question. So to answer that, let's go into what will determine how the rest of this goes. Game 3. Is this going to be the end of the bracket, or is Maxime going to keep us here a little longer?
Yeah, I mean, we are going back to Julesvale, another one of those stages that I've said time and time again. Shovel Knights love this stage. It does allow them to cover so much of the platforms with their aerials, and then on top of that, you can use that moving platform to mix up your recovery very, very well. But right now, it seems that Fireicey is simply holding forward, simply going in, slows it down a little bit, and off stage and into the forward air sweet spot they go.
Very nice. Okay. Yeah, Maxime, again, just looking for these just stray hits that can build up a nice bit of percent. Fireicey, just like Maxime did with Everest, Fireicey controlling where Maxime goes, controlling how they approach, meaning they control exactly how this entire game goes. And that forward air, okay, not gonna do much, but Fireicey just so good at keeping people at bay, keeping them exactly at arm's length.
And speaking of arm's length, that Upstrong going to be holding Fireicey at an arm's length, going to be able to keep this stock count from growing. But right now, 112% on the Shovel Knight. You got to be so careful as Maxime here. A single back air Upstrong will do it, and Fireicey takes the stock lead once again. Maxime potentially on tournament stock here as Fireicey looks to rack up the damage, looks to put himself into a comfortable position.
Yeah, and okay, Maxime getting Fireicey off stage for a brief moment, but Fireicey just throwing out up air after up air, acting like a Mario main. Okay. Oh, a beautiful
down air
down
gonna
air.
do it.
Okay.
Yeah, down air,
Uh-oh.
perfect for Maxime. The momentum mail is on deck, but how much are you going to be able to use it if you're off stage all the time? One Shine Spike not gonna kill just yet. 124% and counting for Maxime, and the off stage is where we return. Forward air, sweet spot, not gonna kill, but 149% on this Shovel Knight is nothing to scoff at.
Exactly. Maxime does still have a chance to close out this game and get a point themselves, but Fireicey, notorious for snuffing out any type of comeback. I mean, oh my god, nearly 200% on Maxime, while Fireicey is still below 100, and that down strong is going to do it. Takes the game, set, and tournament. Fireicey, undefeated, not dropping a single game. Absolutely
Alright, Fireicey
phenomenal.
going to be taking it in the grand finals, and a 3-0 and a handshake seems to be the name of the game when you're fighting Fireicey, and I am very happy to have been able to witness it myself with you, Hikori, but unfortunately I have some previous obligations, so I have to pack up and go.
That's
so go ahead and take the show away while I pack up.
fine.
Take care.
Yeah, thank you again for coming, Auntie. Hey. So with that, friends, we are at the end of our bracket. And as such, I'd like to thank you all for watching and congratulate our top 8. Again, we have... Wait, who do I have? Yeah, so top 7, actually. We have Cookies, Enid Bunny and Elphanon, Crossptn, Everest, Maxime, and your winner, once again, Fireicey. So I would once again like to thank you all for watching. Obviously, as the Rivals 1 stream, there's not as many of you as we may be used to, but that's okay. That happens. I did just realize I don't need to have those on the scene, but something I'd like to share. I'm a little upset that Auntie had to leave before I got to share this, but some reason in the drive where I collect the replays for the bracket, there were 2 zip files, one with the for grands, one with the replays, and one with just an image. It was marked as GF2 Fireicey Maxime. For some reason, this was in here. Just an emote of, I guess, Fireicey's Zetaburn snoozing. But that aside, thank you everyone so very much for coming along today. I know Rivals 1 is not as common as some may hope. I definitely want to do more with the Rivals 1 community. That being said, this VOD will be live in about half an hour from now, so about 10:30 CT today. Rivals 2 VODs, both singles and doubles, will be going live, along with doubles top 8 graphic. Apart from that, obviously, come back same time we started with on Saturday for Euras 2. That is going to be back. Apart from that, I have been your friend and commentator and stream runner, not Tio this time, Hokori. I'd like to thank you very, very much for joining us. Remember, we have a creator code for Rivals 2, so if you feel like, you know, helping out the community a little bit financially, if you do play Rivals 2, just go into the store, use code ROA Europe, and a percentage of the proceeds will go straight back to the European community. But shilling aside, thank you everyone who entered today. Thank you, Anto, for joining us for commentary. Honestly, thank you to our TOs. Let me remind myself of who helped TO Rivals 1. I believe it was Nick S, Lily, and of course Focus Miss, who has been one of the main TOs for R2CS in Europe anyways. So yeah, thank you, Frickikin, Lily, and Nick S, for continuing to support the Rivals 1 community in Europe. And finally, I would like to, for the last time, thank you all for watching. I have been your friend, your stream runner, your caster Hokori, and remember, be good people. Take care.